following these little tidbits. It's like it brought me to such a crazy place. And so this is the version that my mom knew. This is the version of her grandmother that my mom knew and loves. Recuerdo de sus hijos. Remembered by his children, I think, or in memory of his children. I'm not sure. My Spanish is not good. I have her death record here. She's listed as Indian. I want to show you some of the court documents that I found. This is Choctaw Nation. Here's my ancestor, Eveline. And she's listed as half-blood Choctaw. And then they got kicked out again, so then they were denied citizenship. And there's not really any information about why, because... Hi, I'm Danielle Romero. Thank you so much for being with me here on my channel, where we talk about American identity and family stories. And before we jump into the video, if you'd like to join me off YouTube, I'm really trying to focus on Patreon right now. That's where we can direct message, we can chat, share deep dives, share content that I can't show on YouTube, or I won't because they flag it. That's for real. That's crazy. So anyway, come on over at patreon.com/NYTN, or you could send me a coffee at coffee.com/NYTN13. So today's video, I finally paid to get my Ancestry account back on track. So I had let that lapse. I'm going to show you a way to save money on that, like a lot of money that I stumbled upon. So I'm going to show that when we get into my tree. But the next couple videos, I want to just go through my family tree with you. Literally no plan. Like, I want to do all the branches. Let me tell you, you can watch this if you don't have the same ancestry as me, of course, but odds are we probably share something in common. So if you have Italian ancestry, Irish ancestry, Mexican ancestry, Louisiana Creole heritage, if you have French heritage, if you have ancestry in New York, if you have ancestry in Texas, all of these places, I'm going to be doing deep dives on my tree and showing you what I'm doing. It's a mess for sure. So let's jump over to the tree, and I want to first show you a absolutely crazy way to save money on it. It's not sponsored. This is just me, one friend to another. I want to show you a way to save money on Ancestry. So let's hop over there. We're going to dive into my tree, but I use Rakuten. I think that's how it's called. And so they're not sponsoring me, although they should. Rakuten, sponsor me. I love you so much. You get cash back if you're going to like a store, and you can check and see if you have cash back from Rakuten. If you spent like $100 at Ancestry, right now they have 36% cash back. So I did it. I updated my Ancestry stuff when it was 6%, and I logged in today, and I was like, oops, because I spent like $200 to get the whole package for the 6 months. So I wish I had done 36% cash back. It's real, and you can get it as like a gift card, or they'll send to your PayPal, however you want. So I have a referral link for you to do this. It's totally free to sign up. I've been doing it for years. Let me just show you how it works if you click it. And again, I wish they were sponsoring me or not. So it's say cashback's activated. So now you go through the purchase process with Ancestry, and you're going to get that money back. It's so wild. So I'm going to put a link below. Please use that link. I think I get a referral for it, which would be so awesome, because I just love Rakuten so much. If you are like me and you let your tree lapse like a serious amount, because it's expensive. They changed something. I can't remember what it was that they changed. But it was like, I couldn't access any of my stuff without paying. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay, so I want to go through my tree. Want to really go through a million branches of it. So I'm going to put some nice relaxing music on this. All right, let's hang out. So they're rating my tree a 7.6. I've never seen this. My tree deserves to be lower. So it's saying I have errors. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I really deserve a lower thing than a 7. I can promise you that. I have my mom's side and my dad's side. Now, my dad's side of the family, I have talked about on here, and I've done playlists on them. All his grandparents were immigrants from southern Italy, even though his ancestry test reflected a lot of Egyptian and Iranian. I'm gonna go on that side of the tree, not today, but we're gonna do that. We're gonna go through. And my mom's side, interesting, because this is my mom's mother. Her father is not living. I literally haven't updated. My grandfather died a long time ago, but that's not her biological dad, and we didn't know that until she took a DNA test. I have that video up in my DNA playlist. We're gonna talk about my mom's maternal side, but I would also like to dive into the side. So my grandmother's dad was Irish, and her mom was from Louisiana. So here's Lola. It's like the whole channel's been, kind of working on Lola. Lola's got a lot of names, okay? She has a lot of names. I want to go through her census records And if you've been on the channel since I started, this is not new. I don't think I've ever really sat down and done it like this. Okay, so she's my great-grandmother, and she was born Campty, Louisiana, and she died in Albany, New York. That's where I was born. So she was born in 1900, so when she was 10 years old, and the 1910 census was like, I think her first census. She must have missed the other one. And she's listed as Lola Scar, which is weird and wrong. The enumerator, you remember, they're kind of doing the best that they can, but they got her first name wrong. But she went by Lola. And so she was 10 years old, and 1900, her birthplace was Louisiana, and her race, she was listed as mulatto, even though when we use that word now, well, we really shouldn't be using that word, but like, it's like one black parent, one white parent. That is not what was happening with her. It wasn't like she had one white parent, one black parent. She had a Creole parent, her dad, who had predominant African ancestry, but also was descended from the Chitimacha woman, Marie-Therese de la Grande Terre, which we'll go through there. And then her mom, Victoria Simone, or Simon, was Hispanic. So we'll go through all this. We'll show you. We'll just like work our way up. This always makes me feel like crying, to be honest. Did she attend school at 10? No, hasn't attended school. She cannot read, she cannot write. And where she came from, my mother's grandmother, how far she came. This woman, ended up moving to New York and becoming a nurse's aide, and was a widow with 8 kids, and faced discrimination, faced hardship, went through World War II. And I'm here because of the choices that she made and her survival. So you want to see she couldn't read or write at 10 years old. Like, feel sad. Here's her parents, Alphonse Perot, Victoria Perot. So this is a French last name. Down there, they say Perot. They eventually changed it to Peralt to kind of distance themselves from the colored side of the family. That's a story. And some of Lola's siblings are here. And so Hillary, there's a really interesting story about him. He was actually Victoria's son and not Alphonse's son. And I don't know all the details on that. Some cousins have helped me get records. My one cousin, Belinda, helped me get some records there. He was baptized because they're all Catholic, right? So I don't know who his father is. But there was a story that one of my great uncles told me that Hillary and Alphonse did not get along. So Hillary is Victoria's son. This would be his stepdad. And one day they got into an argument, and Lola was very close to him. Here's Lola down here. She was very close to her older brother. And one day Hillary and Alphonse get into an argument, and Hillary hops on a horse and rides off to Texas and was never seen again. That's how the story went. And so I've been trying to find him, and I've really struggled to find him. After a certain point, he kind of disappears. And so here's Lola's sister. Another sister here, Almentine, had a really sad story too. Someone reached out to me a couple years ago with a screenshot of like a family Bible, and someone was keeping the story, and that Almentine had, Mary Almentine, I think was her name, had married a man who was a lot older. He was Anglo, and I guess he was very abusive to her, and people believe that he, I don't know what I can say on YouTube, but he killed her. And so they left behind 2 kids that ended up staying with family in Louisiana and then moving out to Washington State. And I found the kids, some of them had already passed away. I don't know what happened to that side of the family. Alphonse Perot Jr., I've got pictures of him, I've shared on here. Emile as well. And then Francis, and Albert was not born yet. So much information that you can get from this. I love looking at the census records here and seeing the information. You can see who lives nearby them, and too, which is super helpful, because especially in Louisiana, your neighbors are usually your family. Now, this is super interesting. Here, Lola is listed as white, okay? And it's very interesting because her parents, if we go back, I'm gonna go up here to her parents. So Alphonse and Julia Victoria. I do have some thoughts on this I'm gonna show you. So like, he was born 1800s. He's listed as mulatto here, so is she. And then 1900, he's listed as black. And it's crazy, this is my great-great-grandfather. It's crazy to see, like, how could you be listed as mulatto, black, and white just on alternate census records? So let's go back to Lola right here. This is my great-grandmother. And I don't put a lot of pictures up on here. Let's see, this is my picture, that's my hand right there. That one's made the rounds on the tree. And I don't know what else I have here. So this is Lola when she was I also shared this one. Actually, that's a reflection of me sharing it. But this was at my grandmother's house. And so this is the version that my mom knew. This is the version of her grandmother that my mom knew and loved. She's probably in her 70s here. So this is Lola here. And it's crazy to see like people saving it. Like, his family, that's awesome. Let's see what other pictures I have in here of Lola. Like I said, I don't really put a lot on, so I did that one. I think I uploaded this one too, and this was Lola's, yeah, I uploaded it. 2014, I've been doing this. I've been doing this for a little bit. This is their wedding picture, and so Lola got married to my great-grandfather, and he was an Irish boy from Troy, New York, and he went out to Louisiana because he worked with planes, and so he was working with Delta, which started down the south. And so they got married, and I've shared this a zillion times, but I can't find their marriage license. So they got married April 13th, 1925. I know that from the back of wedding pictures, information's written. But as you could see, most of her census records, she's a woman of color, right? And he's white. And so the miscegenation laws, right? It's illegal for them to get married. I don't have a marriage license for them. I have called everyone and I've messaged churches. I've tried to look at, like, I don't know if there's a paper thing for that. If it exists, I have not come across it yet. But I love this picture of them. Her wedding dress, she's wearing like a concho belt and probably silver with turquoise in it. And my grandmother always wore turquoise. And that's why I love to wear turquoise too. And it's a really pretty dress. Looks like it has ribbons in it. So that's their wedding picture. I don't know if I have any other ones on here. And here's Lola when she's like 16. So there's a bunch of hints, and I wanna follow some hints with you and see what happens. All right, so Alphonse is here, and here's Julia Victoria. I want to just jump around a little bit, but I want to show you a little bit of both of theirs. And you can let me know what you're interested in. Like if there's something like, dive into this, like I'd love to. So this is my great-great-grandmother. It's my second great-grandmother, Julia Victoria Simon. And there actually is a marriage thing for her. I have a couple documents, but she was marrying another person of color. And so their marriage was not illegal, right? It wasn't illegal. And so if we go through just a couple of her census records, her family was originally from Texas, and she is connected also to the Choctaw Apache tribe. But here she is listed as Black. And they were married in 1898. Can't read, can't write, does speak English. I'm not sure what her first language is. Her father's first language was Spanish, and her husband's first language was Creole. So I know that my family, the language I think that was mostly spoken was Creole. So this is my great-grandmother, Victoria, and her story is really weird and sad. Everybody's story is kind of weird and sad. I'm sure you guys have that too. But her father was Alberto Simon, and he was born in Louisiana, but he died in San Antonio. And there was actually a lot of connection between these two places, right? Because of El Camino Real. And so, you know, people were traveling from Louisiana to Texas because really there's no border there. It's made up, right? These are places that are connected, and these communities, there was a lot of back and forth. And so his story is really interesting. He's listed as mulatto. At that time, obviously, we talked as mulatto was kind of a catch-all, right? They're like, we're not sure what to put you down as. If you seem kind of brownish, you are mulatto. So he was listed as mulatto, and he ended up moving to Texas. His wife had passed away. I'll have to check. I think he may have left her. But you can see here, as soon as he got to Texas, the name changes on this, and it's because it's phonetic. So in Louisiana, it was spelled Simon, but he's moving to San Antonio. He was a Spanish speaker, so now he's Albert Simon. It's spelled like that. And it's interesting, it puts his birthplace as Texas. There's some confusion with the documents, like was he born in Texas, was he born in Louisiana? But he's still listed as mulatto, and he married a woman named Margarita. And it says he sold vegetables, and he could read, he could write, he could speak English. And these are his kids, so these would be like half siblings for my great-grandmother. or my great-great-grandmother. We've gone through these, I think, a little bit on here, but it's really interesting. The records are a mess. So here it says his race. Now he's not mulatto. Now he's listed as Spanish. And it says his father's birthplace is Canada. It's incorrect when I really dig into the records. He was also born in Texas. It says mother's birthplace, also Texas. And so this side of the family, there is really deep, like, Hispanic Texas heritage I was completely unaware of. And this is his tombstone. It's really, I feel like, just very traditional Catholic Hispanic tombstone. Alberto Simon Sr., 1850 to 1944. So this guy lived through a lot. He lived through 2 world wars, right? Or almost to the end of that. Recuerdo de sus hijos. Remembered by his children, I think, or in memory of his children. I'm not sure. My Spanish is not good. But I remember seeing that stone and being like, okay, so they really were Hispanic. So that would be my great-grandma Lola. That's her grandfather. I guarantee you she never met this man, didn't know anything about him. Same with her grandmother. There's no way she knew her maternal family at all. And I think that's why the Creole side is the side that, for as little as passed down to us, that was the most culture that she had, because it was her father's family and she's connected to her father's family in Louisiana, and, you know, did not have a connection to the Hispanic side, the Choctaw Apache side over here. And Lola's grandmother was Frances. This was a person that was missing for years. No one could find this woman. We knew her name from another record, but we couldn't find her in any census record. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You know, sometimes you find ancestors that are from like the 1600s. I'm like, why can't I find a woman from the 1850s in Texas? Amy Cross, who is an amazing genealogist, she's helped me a bunch. And look her up. She does great work, and she will work with you for such a good price. She had a suggestion because I was like, I cannot find this woman anywhere. And she said, you need to request Julia Simon's death record, because the long form will say her parents' names and where they were born. I was like, I literally never thought of that before. So I did that. I got the death record in the mail, and you won't believe it. It said Frances, and it said she was born in Texas. Now, the last name here is weird, and I want to tell you why this is so jacked up. So her last name is really Padilla, obviously, which is, you know, Hispanic last name, but got butchered on records, and it turned into like Patty, like all kinds of just crazy stuff. So there's a lot of Patty people with the last name Patty or Pardee in Louisiana that I'm kin to. They're Padillas. That's really what happened. But when you're going from like Spanish speaking culture to, you know, French speaking or Creole, and stuff gets changed, right? Kind of like the Ellis Island last name thing. So finding Frances was like a huge deal because it unlocks a huge part of my family, and I thank Amy Cross for that. So what was a big deal about finding Frances was that this is so interesting too, let me show you. So here she's listed as white, which is fascinating when you hear her story. So she was 2 years old. Here, Pathier, it's like, okay, I'm looking for Padilla. I was like, I'm not gonna find that. I found it. So her father was Antonio, and Eveline was her mother. Eveline's story is crazy. Like, all of these stories are crazy. I just want to take you down every single road. But I couldn't find Frances. She was 2 years old, and then she kind of disappeared. And I knew it was the right woman, and I wasn't sure what had happened to her. And talking with some older family members, they said that Lola knew her grandmother's name was Frances, Patty or Pardee or something like that, didn't really know. And they believed that she had gotten pregnant with Julia, Lola's mother, very, very young, and died in childbirth, which would jive with her not showing up on the census. I mean, she could have been like 13 getting pregnant and dying. And so, just an insane story. I have not found her grave. But then that jived with the lack of census records. And so this was a really long one. So a tip I would give you is, if you're looking for someone, if you can find the long form death certificate, if you can request it of their children, you may get information, confirmation, a lead, just to kind of help piece the picture together. So I want to show you Sharpeen Eveline Goins. I have showed this story before, but this is really interesting. And so she's my fourth grandmother. I actually have her death certificate. Isn't that crazy? Some of the things I'm like, I can't find my own great-grandmother's marriage license, but I have my 4th grandmother's death certificate. And in part it's because people had kids so young at this time, at least for women. The men were sometimes a lot older. The distance between the generations is not that much. So this woman was alive when Lola was alive. So Lola's great-great-grandmother was alive, living in Indian country, actually, for a lot of time. I'm sure they knew nothing about her. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it's interesting. I have her death record here. And so it says Eveline. And here you're like, what is this? I think it's supposed to say like Patty, but it's really Padilla. She was widowed already at this point, and said she died in 1918, and said she was born in Nacogdoches, Texas, right? So there's Natchitoches, Louisiana, El Camino Real, Nacogdoches, Texas, over here. And her color or race, she's listed as Indian. But look, I have her parents' names here too. So I have the name of her father and the name of her mother. Her mother was Charlotte Drake. I think it was Charlotte Drake. And Jeremiah Goins. Let me tell you, this was a incredible hint to get when you go down. These last names are really prominent families. The Drake family was a really prominent family of color in Virginia. And the Goins family, of course, is one of the biggest families in America. There's a lot of Melungeon Goins, Redbone Goins, a lot of these groups. And Jeremiah Goins actually was, I think he was 7/8 Choctaw, because he had to go to court to try to get enrolled. They were registering all the Native Americans, and they had trouble. And so I have testimonies of people who knew him. So I want to show you a little about Sharpeen stuff. It's just cool, like following these little tidbits. It's like it brought me to such a crazy place. It brought me from, I was born in New York, and my grandmother was French, and now I'm like, wait a second, like look at all this stuff. The 1900 census, she's listed as Indian, Native American, and they were actually living in Indian territory. So the Goins family, though, were enrolled on the Dawes Rolls for the 5 civilized tribes. And she was listed as Choctaw, and she was enrolled by blood. And, blood quantum is, but they had her blood quantum on here, and then they were kicked out. And then the state said, no, actually, they are Choctaw, you need to let them back in. And then they were kicked out again. The only thing I can piece together is that even though they had a lot of Choctaw blood, I think they also had a lot of like mixed heritage too. And that might have been a problem. I really don't know. I want to show you some of the court documents that I found. So this is Choctaw Nation. Here's my ancestor, Eveline. And they had like Padilla and 2 of her kids, Tasso and Reuben. And she's listed as half-blood Choctaw. And the kids are listed. I think the kids are listed as a little bit more because the father also was. But it was saying that they were in, they got kicked out, and here's the district that they were in. And then they were admitted again, and there was a court case, and I actually was able to find the information about the court case. And then they got kicked out again, so then they were denied citizenship. And there's not really any information about why, because the information seemed like overwhelming. So I'm like, well, I know I have Choctaw heritage. I'm fine with not enrolling in the nation. Like, that's fine. But I felt bad for them seeing this. Like, what happened here? I don't know. They have, evidence of their marriage. All the evidence was brought. And it was really cool to find these cards. I kind of want to do something with them. So her father was listed on her death certificate. And this is the guy, he was born in Mississippi. This is the one who actually had witnesses come to say, yes, he's Choctaw. He served as an interpreter for white people in the area, but it still was not enough to let his daughter be on the Dawes Rolls. So let me see if I have that in here. I'll have to look for that court documentation. It might just be on my computer. I don't know if it's on. Oh, wait, here, controversy. Of course, my family has a million controversies. Controversy regarding Jeremiah Goins. So some claim it's possible that Philip and Odie Goins were invented by the children of Jeremiah Goins and Seraphine Drake to legitimize their bid to be enrolled in the Tribal Council of Choctaw Nation. It does not appear this is the case. I don't know if I've clicked this one. This is just people's notes. They're like called the archives. Okay, let me read this person's information about this, because the Goins family is a big family, and since it's like my fourth grandfather, it's like there's a lot of cousins, right? There's a lot of them. So I have the original court documents, which I'll have to find. But this lady or gentleman said they got copies and went through stuff, and they were able to prove that our family was not only part Choctaw, but that people were also enrolled in our family. This happened after they were initially died by the Dawes Commission, because they said they didn't have evidence. They had to go back with testimony. This is the stuff I have from people who knew the family in Mississippi, and everybody said they were already Choctaw. Everybody knew them as that. And the Choctaw Nation lawyers and Dawes officials were not happy when the U.S. court granted our family citizenship. So then the Choctaw Nation appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and then they upheld the ruling. And then there was a new court created called the Choctaw Citizenship Court, and they ruled that anybody who got citizenship through the U.S. court had to go through their new court, and that you couldn't use any evidence that was in the U.S. court could be accepted. It was like, well, they already gave all their evidence to the U.S. courts. Now all their proof of who they are, all the proof of who my family was, no longer was applicable. Like, it was still real, but you weren't allowed to use it. And it's like, well, that's weird. I forgot about this. I'm glad it's in here. The case was stamped denied. There was no mention of the Supreme Court ruling. It was just, that's what it was. I'm able to enroll in the Choctaw Apache tribe. That is not a federal tribe. It is a Louisiana tribe. I have a lot of cousins in that tribe. This is the federal Choctaw tribe. I probably would not do it because I don't have any connection to it. I feel like a little weird about doing that, but I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. I like to know where my family comes from. We do have Native ancestry and stories like that. So this is one line where some of that comes. I guess this video is getting kind of long, so I'll stop here. And maybe we'll pick up with a different part of the family tree, different ancestors entirely. But let me know what you think if you like this style video. And if you'd like to jump over to Patreon, I think I'm gonna upload some of the Choctaw documents over there on Patreon. So let me know what you think, and we'll talk soon.